It's time for Twig This Week in Google, the Lollipop Edition. Gina and Jeff are here. We'll talk about Android 5.0, the new phone, the new tablet, the new TV device. There's lots to talk about today on Twig. It's coming right up.
Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit. Bandwidth for This Week in Google is provided by CacheFly. CacheFly.com. This is Twig, This Week in Google, episode 271, recorded October 15th, 2014. The Lollipop Guild. This Week in Google is brought to you by Mandrill. Mandrill is a scalable, reliable, and secure email infrastructure service trusted by more than 300,000 customers. Sign up at mandrill.com. Use the promo code TWIT, and you'll receive 50,000 free email sends per month for your first 6 months of service. And by Personal Capital. With Personal Capital, you'll finally have all your financial life in one place and get a clear view of everything you own. Best of all, it's free. To sign up, go to personalcapital.com/twig. And by Prosper. Prosper is a peer-to-peer lending marketplace that connects people who are looking to borrow money with those who have money to lend. Visit prosper.com/twit and receive a $50 Visa prepaid card when you get a loan. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Twig This Week in Google, the much-awaited. This is, for us, this is a big day in Google land. Jeff Jarvis joins us from Seoul, Korea, where it's 5 in the morning. Oh, my God. Nice. Thank you, Jeff. You are above and beyond. That is a commitment to the cause. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Really appreciate it. And, of course, because you're in Seoul, you have the best Skype connection you've had all year.
I know.
Look at that.
Is the internet just really good in Seoul?
94 up, 94 down, 92 up.
Oh, my God. I'm so jealous. Oh, I'm so jealous.
That's good stuff.
Gina Trapani from New York, New York. Good to see you.
Good to see you, too. I'm so excited. This is a huge, huge news day. Of course, I'm sad because, you know, I did All About Android last night. But we could talk about everything that happened today.
You put it to bed last night without knowing what the morning would bring. But we all kind of knew that today would be a big day.
Oh, yeah. We wrapped the show saying we know for sure that all this stuff is going to happen tomorrow. It's probably going to be Lollipop. We're going to hear about all the new Nexuses. And, of course, it's going to happen tomorrow because we do All About Android on Tuesdays. So the big Android news seems to always break on Wednesdays.
Yep.
But we get to catch it on Twig, so that's good. And then we'll talk about it, of course, next week as well.
Yeah. And to be honest, nothing surprising, right? Or is there?
No. I mean, we said last night we knew pretty well it was going to be Lollipop, even though there was quite a bit of misdirection going on. The statue guy was dropping a lot of hints about licorice. You know, there was a lady finger eating a lady finger in one of Google's videos. I mean,
didn't they do an audition? They had like an audition video where they were auditioning for the next dessert. So for those of you who don't watch this show regularly and have never heard of something called Google, you Bing users maybe don't know that Google names its versions of Android after desserts. First one was not a dessert, right? That was just alpha.
Cupcake.
Yeah, because there was alpha and beta, and then it was
Alpha,
C
beta.
was cupcake, was the first release version.
Donut.
Eclair.
Eclair.
Froyo. Gingerbread.
Honeycomb,
which had a short-lived, it was the tablet version, short-lived.
Honeycomb was the redheaded stepchild for sure.
Yeah. Then
ice cream sandwich.
Ice cream sandwich, yeah.
Jelly bean.
Mm-hmm.
Kit Kat.
Mm-hmm.
And now we are on L.
That was very sad, you two.
That we knew those?
All those brain cells devoted to that.
It is weird, isn't it? Here's the casting. Google did it. I think this is really great for L.
It was cute.
Lava cake?
How you feeling?
Ladyfinger?
Show me sweet. Sweeter?
Lemon drop?
Oh, that's perfect.
This is... Quiet, please. Casting in session. This is hysterical. Oreo. There can be only one.
I like the ladyfinger eating a ladyfinger. Recursion.
Google has such a great sense of humor. I just love that.
Totally.
Now, I'm
then
going to
we
make
get-
news out of it, though, because last time they did Kit Kat, and I was a little miffed, as a lot of people were. Where's my Kit Kat bar? That they used a brand name. They apparently made a deal in
Yep.
which no money was exchanged, with Hershey's or Nestle's, depending on which country, for Kit Kat. And I thought, well, do you think they waited to do Lollipop to the last moment, hoping that they could make a deal with, what, I don't know, Laffy Taffy?
I don't know what the delay was about. Yeah, I don't know. I think they just weren't ready. I think they simply weren't ready. They didn't have the statue. They didn't have the promo videos made.
The statue wasn't made.
The statue wasn't built yet. I just think that they weren't ready. They wanted to do some sort of, new launch, although it was just a blog post. It wasn't like there was an event today or anything.
No.
It's
Somebody
not
asked me
clear.
yesterday, "Oh, Mr. Apple fan, I bet you're not going to cover the Google event tomorrow." And I said, "Well, I will if there were one, but it was a press release."
We cover
Are
it.
you an Apple fan or an Apple enemy? I can't keep it straight.
Well, that's the problem. Depends who you ask.
Yeah.
So here's the follow-up, by the way, to the L casting. Licorice. Did you see red licorice there?
Yeah, look at
Notifications. Sorry. Notifications now to notify you, even in the lock screen.
It's show me sweet.
He's memorizing. Oh, this is the full-length one, I guess.
Oh, okay.
I went in there and I lagged.
I like that Lava Cake has a little berry in his hair.
And if you don't feel like you get it in one take, which I know you will, you just demand another one. Don't say sorry. Don't say excuse me. Don't say please. You say, I want to do it again.
I know you. I know you.
You do know it's L this time, right?
We. L'Oreo.
Wait, who's that guy?
Wait a minute.
What's that guy?
What is the giant
Focus.
sponge with coconut on it? What is that?
What is that thing?
Chat room, you've got to figure that out. It's an L dessert. What is it?
Or is it MNO talking? I don't know. Is he out of it?
It's L'Oreo. What is that? It's weird looking. It's coconut. It's a lacqueroon. What is it?
A lacqueroon.
What is it? Anyway, let's continue on.
Focus. Your objective is to go in there and crush these people's dreams.
Oh, my God.
No. Seriously, thank you guys. That was seriously, I've never had that
Oh.
audition before.
Oh.
Oh.
Hey, next year's M. Muffins.
This is probably exactly what it's
Pretty great. This is pretty great.
like. Lollipop is here.
So that woman was dressed as licorice, right? We had a lemon bar there.
Lemon bar. L'Oreo. Sorry, Mr. Ladyfinger. Who is this guy? Nice. LMP, lemon meringue pie.
Lemon meringue pie.
Licorice. Lemon drop, lava cake. But who is this guy?
Yeah, is this lemon drop? Is that a lemon
No,
drop?
we saw lemon drop. Who is this guy? Ledoux. What the hell's a Ledoux?
Ledoux.
And then there they are.
This is me. These are what Ladou's are. They look like a cross
It's like,
between
it must be an Indian dessert. It's an Indian
a
dessert.
deep fried thing or just a meatball. I'm not sure.
It's got to be. It's one of them.
Indian, yeah.
Okay, and I don't mean this to sound disparaging in any way, but every time I go to an Indian restaurant, I skip the dessert because it's like that. Often it's in a kind of a sweet liquid.
Yeah.
Not a fan.
It's an acquired thing,
taste.
isn't it?
Yeah, I love
Acquired
Indian
taste.
food, but the dessert. Anyway, no Ledoux. It's Lollipop. Doesn't mean anything, right? There's no prize. And they couldn't do a deal with Lifesaver.
Oh.
Yeah, I think they would have been overdoing it.
I think that they probably got the message when I and others in the tech press said, I don't want to say a brand name every time I'm talking about your version of Android. And in fact, we did. And Kit Kat got a lot of free publicity because of it. It's just not appropriate for a code name, I don't think. Lollipop.
So this is the first number jump since when? This is 5-0.
Yeah,
right?
5. So 4-2 was Jelly Bean. 4-4 was Kit Kat. So I think since Ice Cream Sandwich was 4, right? So since
Checking.
honeycomb was 4.
This I should know off the top, and I do not. So brain
Gingerbread.
cells not being used.
Since gingerbread. Because gingerbread was ice cream sandwich was 4.
Was 403 to 44.
But
says
honeycomb was
Wikipedia.
what? 4, right? No. Honeycomb was 3. So it's the biggest jump since honeycomb.
Since honeycomb.
How long ago was that?
Ages ago. Ice cream
Yeah, I mean
sandwich.
2011.
So why 5? Is it? Well, it's the new look, right?
Material design.
I like material design.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm very excited about material design.
It's flattish.
It's flattish. Yep. It's supposedly runs really well on low power devices. So it's the getting the next 1 billion online.
Because all those gradients are expensive in CPU terms. And the GUI stuff and the lighting effects and all that. That's expensive. So are they Yeah, I guess they're kind of eliminating lighting effects. This is all very flat.
Yeah, definitely very flat for sure. And the Chrome tabs are sort of first-class citizens. Like each web process is its own process. There's a lot to L. I don't know though. There definitely are transitions. Like things don't transport; they slide and shift. And
Okay.
L is also focuses on big images and also as all of Android kind of has this responsive design where it fits perfectly on whatever size screen that you've got.
Here's an interesting. This is the slideshow describing material. The interesting page 7. Users initiate change. Changes to the interface derive their energy from user actions. Motion that cascades from touch respects and reinforces the user as prime mover. This is the kind of thinking that goes into this stuff. There's a message being passed subliminally to the user. And like in this case, you're the god, you're the power. Animation is choreographed on a shared stage. Motion provides meaning. And don't just have motion for motion's sake. It's feedback.
Right. When you move, when you touch, when you swipe, everything should move with you.
When I move, you move. Color, surface, and iconography emphasize actions. This is somebody put some thought into this.
Definitely.
As if they didn't put some thought into it before, but I mean, I like it. So one of the things we know, in fact, I'm very pleased to hear this. They're going to put Lollipop on going all the way back to the Nexus 4. You'll get updates on the Nexus 4 and the Nexus 5.
It's great.
Yeah.
This will just take 3 years to roll out to all the phones, but that's all right.
Your carrier may Lollipop block you, but if you've got a Nexus, you'll get it right away. And then I'm very excited about the Nexus 6. So, what are you laughing at?
No, I said expensive.
Yeah, that I'm not so excited about. The Nexus line has traditionally been the low cost. The new Nexus 6 and the Nexus 9, powered by Lollipop, will come out. The Nexus 9 will be available for pre-order October 17th and will hit stores on November 3rd. 9 is a tablet. It's the successor to the Nexus 7. It's 8.9 inches. The 16-gigabyte version, $399.
That's the one that upsets me. I think 7 was a great size.
It's $225.
But 9 is just too big. It bothers me. So now I guess the joke is, is my 6? Would I get rid of a tablet? Is my 6 a tablet? But no, there's quite a difference here.
You know who I think should feel a little ripped off are people like me who bought the Moto X, the 2014 Moto X, because essentially this is a 6-inch Moto X.
Is this the death of the small phone?
No. In fact, isn't Google keeping the 5 around?
I think they are.
Because they realize that people may want a smaller phone. I don't think the small phone is dead, but I think we're now going to see a very clear division between 4, and I think 4.7 is kind of the sweet spot. 4.7 and 5.5 and up. 5.5 to 6. Those are going to be the two
What's
sizes.
the battery life on the...
Well, that's why. So the thing, I like the Moto X in many respects, but the battery life is too short for me. It's 12 hours.
What about the
they're claiming significant. It's a much bigger battery, and they're claiming 24 hours.
Because that is the main selling point of the OnePlus One, as far as I'm concerned.
Yep, me too.
Yeah, definitely.
And we'll talk about the new update. I don't know if you guys got it, but it's great.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, my lock screen is now different from my whatchamacallit screen. My screensaver. It makes me very happy. I finally have. Hold on a second here. I have Lennon
and McCartney.
Wait a second. And Marx and Engels.
Aren't you lucky? Actually, I've had different pictures for some time, but I
couldn't get it to work.
The new one gives you it's just different. You have to turn on a lock screen. This is not it, actually.
No, I did all that before and it didn't work.
So, well, I know I'm not using it, and I never have. But let me turn on the new custom lock screen. Wait a minute, we're getting distracted.
We are getting distracted.
Stop, squirrel! I'll save that for later. It's so easy. There's so much to talk about, but let's not throw it all in at once. They also announced a Nexus TV device, which is kind of
yeah, this was the one surprise.
Yeah,
right?
we didn't know about this.
Mm-hmm.
The Nexus Player, they call it, with remote control, $99. Optional controller, $40. Are there pictures of the Nexus Player? I don't see them. Maybe.
Yeah, I've seen them. It's just this little round thing.
It's running Android TV. It's kind of an Ouya competitor. It'll run games. So this is
why does the remote control cost $40? That's what I don't get.
Right, it's almost half. Well, not quite, but almost half the cost of the device itself.
It's a good.
Well, I mean, you can use your phone to control this thing, right? You don't need this controller,
right?
Okay,
although
gotcha.
the Nexus Player has voice search. It's a lot like the Android Fire TV, really.
I was at AT&T again in the store this week, and I said, "So is that Fire selling?"
Oh, wait a minute. So you get the remote control with this.
Oh, you do?
You don't get the gaming controller. This is just like Fire TV. So this is the gaming controller for $40 because this thing and that you get with it.
I'm glad I don't have to pay for it. That's
right.
Okay. So the difference between a Nexus TV and Apple TV is what?
Well, it's the same difference between the Nexus, the Apple, and everything else, which is only the Apple TV supports iTunes, and Apple TV does not allow apps, so you can't have gaming on the Apple TV either. So I don't think Apple TV is, unless you're really in the iTunes universe, Apple TV is the right thing for most people. This competes directly against Roku and the Fire TV. Let me go to the Google website here.
And the Chromecast? I mean, is this basically the...
No. I mean... Chromecast is so different.
You can't cast.
It feels like the Chromecast is like a light version of this, right? Because this is all cast ready. Like, this all works with the Chromecast stuff. It seems like this is like the device for people who want more than the Chromecast.
They demoed this stuff at I.O., and I was confused then trying to figure out what the real difference is.
So look at the apps. That's interesting because that's a set worthy of Roku. Netflix, of course, iHeartRadio, Crackle, TuneIn, Hulu Plus, YouTube, TED, Dailymotion, Pandora.
Where are you on it?
Twit is a Android app, so I don't know, maybe. What's missing on here? Plex is there. That's good.
There's got to be. I mean, all you need is a
Amazon's
podcast
missing.
app.
Amazon's missing.
Yes.
That's a big one. So now you have to get the Fire TV if you're an Amazon streaming customer, the Apple TV if you're an iTunes customer. That's kind of unfortunate. But I don't see Google. Oh, there it is. Google Movies and Google. Yeah, if you're a Google Movies person, you'd want this one.
But now that I have a smart TV, it basically does all.
I want all of them. Yeah. So it's an Intel Atom processor, 1.8 gigahertz quad core, 802.11 AC, which is nice. HDMI out. That's how you'll hook it up to your TV. You get the remote with the player. Severe shortage of HDMIs. Yeah. You got to get an AV receiver. That's the only solution.
Ugh.
I bit that bullet a long time ago. But that's good because it really confuses spouses. It's a spousal confusing device. Why can't I just turn on the TV? Oh, and the ex-spouses too, which is handy. Lisa's husband came over. He couldn't figure out. He would turn off the TV, and then the AV receiver would turn it back on. I'm sorry, I shouldn't laugh.
I can't tell you how many times I've been with friends who've gotten the call from their significant other, like, how do I turn on the TV? I just want to watch Netflix or whatever. It's so true. And it's like, oh, listen, all right, this is what you do.
I
Like, turn on
know.
the media player. Like, is the light on? All right, now make sure the video source is set. Like, it's just it's such a universal experience.
Well, AV receiver just makes it worse.
You
Because there's
are
another
taking
remote.
way too much deriving too much pleasure from that.
He said it kept turning itself back on. So I don't see HBO Go on here. I don't see Showtime anywhere on here. That's two big omissions. I really want to see HBO Go on this, but I presume that Google could make those deals, or I'm not sure how this works really. Did you guys get this from Google I/O? Is this what did you get one?
No, we didn't get one, but Jason snagged that they had developer kits, and Jason got one of those. So I mean, it's just a black box. But
Same
he's
as
been
this,
playing
though.
with it, and he's been using it with an early preview. So now this is cast ready. So if HBO Go, if I can already cast from that,
Oh, okay, you're good
I don't
then.
need an app for that,
No.
right?
Right. I don't think
And, like,
Showtime anywhere does Chromecast though.
And for Twit, I mean, there's got to be a Twit app.
There
that's
is,
cast ready.
Twitcast. Yeah.
Twitcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. So
Thanks
you're
to
on
Mark
this.
Lane.
You just want to promote it, though.
Well, I'll promote it. Twitcast. Get
Well,
it,
you
everybody.
promote it on the actual device.
Right,
So
but you
how
want
many-
it on the
How
home
many of these
screen.
things do you think are going to
It's frustrating because Showtime does not have Chromecast support. That makes me mad. And you still have to log into Xfinity. By the way, big story. HBO let out that they are going to end that next year. That you'll start to be able to buy a subscription to HBO that will not be tied to a cable provider.
That
Every
is
man for himself.
That's great. That's the crack in the wall. If they go through with that, it's all over. It's the end.
That's gonna be awesome.
Yes. Couldn't happen to a nicer bunch of people, the cable companies.
Well, story we didn't talk about last week, I think, was also that the Google Fiber said that one of the problems they have in rolling out is the negotiations with cable companies, and they get and this is the case where Google gets a much worse deal because they're not in cartel.
Right.
It's a horrid.
It's good to be a cartel.
Handy.
Good. So those are the big announcements. I'm excited about the Nexus 6 because even though it doesn't have the Moto Maker support, you can't get leather. There's only two colors, midnight blue and snowy pearly ice or something.
Ooh.
Black and white. Let's just say call a spade a spade. Black and white. But it is a 6-inch screen, which I think is good. I have been using a 6-inch screen on the Nokia 1520, and I think it's good. I don't think you're going to hate it. It is big.
No, this has been a transition for me, and I've gotten used to this, and this feels normal. But here in Korea, and by the way, let's just say in Korea, the world laughed at you, Korea, for your phablets. You were right.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Everybody thought, oh, those silly Koreans all carrying these gigantic phones, and they were way ahead.
Mm-hmm.
But when I put this next to a Note 4, it looks almost the same size. But when you see someone holding a note, it just looks so much bigger.
That's a design thing, I think. The key is tapering the edges and so forth, and and bezel size. What I'm really thrilled about. So, I wanted to love the Moto X. I loved the Moto X last year. I thought it was the phone of the year last year, despite its 720p screen and its only weak camera. And they fixed some of those things in the Moto X, but the battery life was not great. It was a little frustrating. And I was a little disappointed because even though it looked like they had dual-ported speakers on the front, only one of them was a music speaker. The other one was the phone speaker. So Google is putting out an Nexus 6, which is essentially a Moto X with bigger battery life, a bigger UHD screen, by the way. It's not just 1080p. It's now whatever. What is the new thing? Oh, I just turned my flashlight on by stroking my phone.
That That happens.
It's easy. You just go like that, and the flashlight turns on. It goes, I like it.
Yeah.
Keep it up. So.
Oh, things just got weird.
Yeah. But they have front dual stereo speakers, which is one of the things I loved on the HTC One.
Yeah.
Leo, why are you not carrying your Moto right now? You're carrying your
battery life.
Yeah,
really?
the battery
Wow,
is
that's
the issue.
killer.
And we'll talk about this later, but the new R38 update for Cyanogen. By the way, I am now convinced that the best version of Android is Cyanogen Mod. Do you not agree, all of you?
It's pretty great.
Far and away.
Pretty good. Yep.
Far and away. And one of the things it does is it takes raw images now with the camera in addition to a JPEG. And that's huge. It's going to be a better camera. Going to be a better camera on the Xiaomi Nexus 6.
If I want to update, get a new 7-inch tablet, because I'm going to be resistant about this 9-inch stuff, and I get a Samsung 7-inch.
You're going to have a 6-inch phone.
Well, but Leo, this is quite a difference.
Well, that's 5.5.
Still,
that's 5.5. It's not 6. Yep.
Difference.
The Cyanogen
I'm on the plane. Number one, I'm on the plane watching movies on this, which is better. Number two, it fits in the pocket, so it's smaller. Number three, I can type on this easier for big documents, which is better. I don't think the half-inch.
No, you're probably
going to
right.
make that much of a difference
You're
as to
probably
this.
Okay.
And in fact, given that these OnePlus Ones that we're all wielding are $350, and the Nexus 6 is going to be $650.
Yeah, that price. Yeah.
64 gig is $700, isn't it?
Yeah, twice as much. Twice as much.
Yeah. But it says Nexus on the back, Leo.
I can't go another half-inch, you guys. This 5.5 is. I can't do it. This 5.5 is taking me a while. I can't. I just. I've hit my.
Not going to do it.
I mean, listen, I love the Nexus line, and I mean, I love the front-facing speakers. I really missed out from the HTC One. That was one of the things I loved about it. But yeah, no, I just can't do another half-inch. I was on the subway, the other day trying to type out an email, and there's just some places, you can't be holding on and typing at the same time. There's just some places my thumb doesn't go.
Well, that's a special need, though. I don't ride the subway. I mean,
for little people.
No, and subway riders.
Right, and one-handed.
Well, that's this whole thing about one-handed, which Apple guys make a big deal about, and I don't really understand it because I haven't had a one-handed phone in years.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think people make a bigger deal about it than we can, but there are times when it's just I feel slippery, and I feel like I just don't feel like I can get my grip on it the way that I would like. So the 5.5 has definitely been a push for me. I don't think I could do 6.
6 is it is a big difference. When I handle the 1520, it's big. It feels big in your hand. It's a little stretch. It's actually good.
Yeah, you got to wrap it.
I've been using it to stretch my hand in preparation for the Nexus 6. Nexus 6 you'll be able to order not till October 29th, and it'll come in the second week of November.
So they're really cutting it tight.
They are.
It will have wireless charging. It will come, which the Moto X did not, with the quick charger. That was a $30 or $40 extra on the Moto X. It will come with a 3220 milliamp hour battery. That's about 400 milliamps hours more than the Moto X. Dual front-facing speakers, 32 or 64 gigabytes. A Snapdragon 805, also better than the Moto X. 13-megapixel rear camera. I mean, in every respect, it's a slap in the face to anybody who bought a Moto X because for the same price, had we waited a month.
But it's the same specs as the OnePlus. What's the battery size of the OnePlus?
That's a good question. I don't remember. I think you're right. I think it's very close.
And the 13-megapixel camera is the same.
You don't have dual-facing speakers. You don't have Qi charging. It's similar. And I think, frankly, if you have a Plus and you're happy with it,
3100.
Stay with the Plus. 3100. All right.
3100 milliamp.
This is 3220. It's more. But one difference is the screen. This is the new screen is Ultra, as I said, Ultra HD or what they.
How much of a power hog is that?
That could make a big difference. It could mean that the bigger battery gives you less battery. We have to wait and see. Supposedly, Lollipop is also an improvement in battery.
Ought to be.
Yeah. What is the resolution of the new screen?
1440 by 2560.
So it's 1440 instead of 1080.
Yeah, that's the PPI is 493.
I thought it was over 500. It's a lot.
Well, that's what they say on the website.
Okay.
Is at 5.96 inches.
Oh, so it's not 6.
It's not perfectly 6. Yes.
How's that? How do you feel?
It's 0.04 inches away
Come
from
on,
being
Gina.
6 inches.
Okay, Gina. It's okay.
That's
Just
That
get
made a
longer
difference.
fingernails.
Quad HD. You know, that's really, I mean, anything more than 300 pixels per inch is probably invisible at a normal, unless you're really nearsighted.
Especially that size.
Yeah. 493 pixels per inch is pretty amazing.
And the 6 Plus is 5.5 inches, right? This is a 0.4 inches bigger than the 6 Plus.
The 6 Plus. What's the 6 Plus?
The iPhone 6 Plus.
Oh, the iPhone. I forgot about that.
Yeah, you forgot about that.
The
So that's
iPhone
5.5.
screen is identical to the OnePlus screen. In fact, I think it's the same part. So it's 5.5 inches. You have an iPhone 6 Plus screen in your hand.
Right.
Is that what makes it so difficult to get scale on the OnePlus because they can't get supply?
It is now my theory that that's exactly what's been happening, that Apple has been taking every one of these screens, and so what all OnePlus can do is whenever they get a batch of screens, they put out more invites.
Interesting.
That's my new theory.
We should try to get one of those OnePlus guys on the show.
Yeah,
That'd be kind of fun.
Because you know what? All three of us have settled on the OnePlus One as the phone to have.
We have.
Let's take a break. When we come back, I want to talk about the update that we got on OnePlus One, which actually puts it over the top now as the, without question, king of the Android phones, in my opinion. And there's some real rivals to this. The LG G3. I mean, there's some tough rivals, and we'll have to see when the Nexus 6 comes out. But for now, I think we can declare a king of the hill. Hey, a brand new sponsor. Want to welcome Mandrill to This Week in Google, and it's just a coinky-dink, but it turns out that Gina uses it.
I do. My company ThinkUp uses Mandrill to send all of our email, and we love it. I'm so thrilled that they're a sponsor.
Mandrill is scalable, reliable, secure email infrastructure trusted by more than 300,000 customers. It's the back end for MailChimp. That we determined that. And I've been recommending MailChimp for years for our consumer users, particularly on the radio show. But this is like the heavy-duty back end for it. Fast, you can integrate, deliver, and track and analyze everything.
Look at that.
Stats.
The API is amazing. They've just got this. Literally, I copied and pasted that code into my app, and it was working. It's great.
So so let me understand it better. I'm glad you're here because. So this is like a mail server?
Yeah, it's a huge farm of mail servers in the sky, and you basically there's an awesome API. It's just a very simple REST API, and you say, hey, send this email, use this template. It helps you. You design your HTML templates to make your mail look the way that you want, and it sends it.
So you could use it for mailing lists, but you put it in your app as a way for the app to have email capability.
Exactly. So on ThinkUp, you can opt into a daily email with your ThinkUp insights, and Mandrill sends that. So in your app, you say, yes, I want email, and then when our crawler runs, it says, does this user want email? Yes, and it boom, it pings Mandrill, and that email comes through them.
You send them a template to Mandrill from your MailChimp account, or you can code your own, import it. They have an API, REST API. They have a template editor in Mandrill. Real-time notifications, bounce rate changes, reputation management. So if people start interpreting your mail as spam, you'll know before anybody, and you can make adjustments. Real-time analytics with webhooks to integrate real-time into your account and keep track of trends like open rates. Are people reading your email? Are they clicking? Are they unsubscribing? You'll know. Mandrill is brought to you by MailChimp, a company with 10 years experience building world-class email marketing platform. They send 10 billion emails a month for 7 million customers, and this is the back end. You're going to use the super-duper tool. For developers who love documentation, integrations, high delivery rates, webhooks, analytics, a beautiful interface. They have not stinted on that. Flexible template options, custom tagging, advanced tracking reports. It's the only email infrastructure service with a mobile app that lets you monitor delivery and troubleshoot from where you are. Mandrill, M-A-N-D-R-I-L-L, Mandrill. It's a powerful, scalable, and affordable solution that you can try right now free. Sign up at Mandrill.com. Use the promo code TWIT, and you'll receive 50,000 free email sends per month for your first 6 months of service.
Funny story about Mandrill. We noticed that our open rate went very low, like went from quite high, around 40%, which is very high, to like very low after we did a redesign of one of our emails. And we realized that the reason why is because we found out through Mandrill, and then we found out the reason why is because the email was getting shuttled into Gmail's promotions label.
Oy.
Which is, I mean, we were using some language that made it, sound like a promotion.
But you know, and that's what's great.
We know.
Yeah.
We knew, yeah, and we were able to. We actually just we rolled with it. We added tags that showed the little promotion at the top of your Gmail inbox, and because a lot of our customers use Gmail, but we wouldn't have known that because of Mandrill. Mandrill's awesome.
That's
really
fantastic.
Love it.
So your first 50,000 emails free. You get 50,000 free emails per month for your first 6 months. So actually, that's 300,000 emails free. Mandrill, but you've got to go to Mandrill.com and use the promo code TWIT for that special deal. Mandrill.com, promo code TWIT. And we're excited to welcome Mandrill in. Thank you, Mandrill, for joining the TWIT family. And I had no idea Gina used it.
Yeah, that's so funny. I'm in Mandrill every day, so
Yeah.
I got excited.
I've used MailChimp
like
for years, and I know it and recommend it, but this was the Mandrill name was new to me. So here is a great website. Thank you to our chat room, comparing screen sizes of all of the big phones. The Nexus 5 is on the left, then the Moto X new 2014 one. It's always felt a little squatty to me. Now I see why. There's the LG G3 right next to it. That's a UHD screen. Our OnePlus One is kind of the one in the middle. The one that says never settle. Samsung Galaxy Note 4. My Note 4 is coming. Should be here by next week. I'll have a review for you of that on Before You Buy next Tuesday.
Yeah.
There's the iPhone 6 Plus. See, iPhone's bigger because of the bezel. See, and I think that's a mistake Apple made, but they have a physical home button, and so does Samsung. I am now no longer a fan of the physical home button. Remember how much I bitched?
Oh, I was going to say, you love the physical home button. You made a total
I was so
turnaround on
wrong.
that.
You were right. Google said, no, we want you to do on-screen buttons. Actually, I like capacitive buttons. I never liked the physical button that much because I feel like that's something that's going to break. Both the S5 and the 6 Plus have it because they use fingerprint readers. Or the Note 5. Yeah.
The only advantage to the physical buttons is that like you can tell which way your phone is turned, right? Like by looking at it and touching it. Like I find that on Android phones that are just these flat black slabs that I search on the sides for the power button. That's part of the reason why I love the OnePlus One is you can just tap the screen to wake it up and not have to search for the power button.
Right.
But that's the only thing that about physical buttons that I miss. I mean, otherwise I think it's just it's a much nicer design, and the software can be what the software is, without a physical button.
Yeah.
It feels primitive.
You won me over. You totally won me over. And I'm not looking forward to playing with a Note 4 because of that physical button. Okay, it's a simple thing, but I'm trying to use my phone surreptitiously in bed. And I tell you way too much about my life, don't I?
Is it surreptitious because you're working when you should be trying to sleep?
It's
or is
4 a.m. and I'm trying to...
4 a.m. and you're... Yeah,
But I click the button and you can hear it go click. I mean, if it's dead silent, you can hear it. Obviously not normally, but it's just... I want to just silently... There at the far right is the Nexus 6. It is the biggest. It's Shamu, all right. I wish they had a 1520 in here. Because the 1520, which is the 6-inch Lumia, is just as big. It's the nice thin phone, though. I really like a gray icon.
With this website, you could just kill one of the phones and then add the 1520.
Can I put a 1520?
Yeah, hit the X above one of those. There's a weird pop-up above it. But
yeah, I don't need a Nexus 5 anymore. Let's put the, how do I add it? This is a cool site. I've never seen this site. Where do I add it here? Oh, here it is. Lumia 1.
Here, I've added it.
Oh, you're so good. See, it's that big. It's that big, baby.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, I mean, some of this is hard to tell because you're not holding it. The thinness of the body has a lot to do with how big you feel it's going to be.
Yes. The Nexus 6 dwarfs the iPhone 6 Plus. Like, it really, there's so much more screen going on there. And of course, I mean, it's only half an inch, right?
Because of no bezels. No
Yeah,
bezels,
the bezel-
baby.
The bezel is. I didn't realize how big the bezel was on the iPhone. Yeah.
Bezels is bad.
That button.
But that thing's
that
got to be a
darn button.
monster in person, though.
Can't wait.
6 Plus is.
I'm buying it right away.
It's nice that the Nexus 6 is actually 6 inches versus,
Yeah.
the 6 Plus being 5.5. That the numbers line up.
Yeah.
That there's something about that makes me very happy as a coder. I'm
That's
a
the
literal
OCD
person.
nerd in you.
Yeah. Like that makes it causes a lot of cognitive dissonance that the iPhone 6 Plus is 5.5 inches.
Well, that's what they said. The joke is, the iPhone 6 must have been designed by a man. It's 5.5 inches, but they called it 6 Plus.
That was Kara, wasn't it? I think that was Kara Swisher.
Probably Kara. Probably.
That's how Kara
Kara
written all over
gave
it.
to her son. It was her son who said it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's good. That's good.
October 29th, we can pre-order that. Looking forward to it.
Can we talk about the new Android ads real quick? We talked about
let's
this
play
last
'em.
night on Albany Android, but let's play just one. I find that this whole the tagline and
This is the
whole
new
thrust
thing.
of the marketing campaign is very interesting.
I think they're smart because I think that they're playing up the fact that there's choice in the Android arena, right?
They're turning that into a feature instead of a bug.
Right. Yeah, you call it fragmentation. We call it choice.
Right, exactly. But they've
let's
communicated
see.
that very, very effectively this time around. In this particular set of promotions, I think have been really landed.
Oh,
Sorry.
I think Chad has it.
Yeah, I have one. There's a few different ads. Which
There's
one?
a few different ones.
Well, play all
Whichever.
3 of them so I can go to the bathroom.
Okay, sounds great. Let's start with the bus stop.
Oh yeah, I like the bus stop.
This is the best one because this tells you something. Remember, this is before we saw the Nexus 6.
That is good.
I hadn't seen that one. That's a good one.
I love the music.
Yeah, some great music.
Be together, not the same. So that's an interesting.
What was that? Create your own Androidify? What was that?
Yeah,
one?
that's from Androidify.
All of these are Androidify characters, right?
I think so.
Yeah. That was the website where you create your own Android.
Right.
Be together. So let's. Well, there's.
Oh yeah, this one is the tearjerker.
New kid over to your table, or you didn't. If you did, that was a cool move. That was an and move.
Oh,
and moves take guts, but they can mean everything. Their and move is to put wings on a bicycle. Now we fly. When enough people have an and view, the world changes forever. If you think
That's
about it,
a little
we're only
bit.
here because of an and
It's
moment.
their Think Different
Opening yourself
campaign.
up isn't easy.
This is it. Yeah.
Oh,
It's
that's
hard to forget.
great.
Because it
That's
leads
good.
to something new, something
That's the
better.
self-driving car.
That's why we need this.
That's the ALS
And
Ice
this.
Bucket Challenge.
And them.
Robots. Graduation.
you
Selfie
watching
sticks.
this right now. Because everyone doing the same thing won't move us forward.
Putting underpants on
Everyone
your
doing their own thing. Together. Can.
Wow. How much they're going to spend on this campaign?
This is yeah,
Hundreds
this is
of millions of
serious.
dollars. You're going to see
Have
this
they
on the
ever
Super
really
Bowl.
advertised Android before?
Well, Google's
this is
bought
real-
ads before, but it's been
We-
for search.
We
bar.
were wondering this last night. Like I've seen Chrome ads on TV, but are we going to see Android ads on TV? Like I can't think of any mobile operating system that's ever had its own ad that it wasn't focused on a phone. There's never been an iOS ad. There's never been a Windows Phone ad, right? But we've seen Windows Phone on the HTC M8, and we've seen the iPhone ad, right? Like It's so I was wondering last night, are these videos targeted toward developers? This is what Google's way of saying this isn't fragmentation, this is choice.
No, I think it also is what kind of phone do you have? I have an Android phone. You hear people say that.
Right.
But Google's never really branded it heavily. And Google made up the model. Let's not forget, you couldn't have that separation before. As if you had a BlackBerry operating system, you had a BlackBerry phone. Period. Full stop. If you had a Nokia operating system, you had a Nokia phone. Full stop. It was Open Android that changed this new model, and they never really branded it.
Well, I also should point out that while previous Nexus phones were clearly developer phones, Google realized with the success of the Nexus 5, maybe there's a market. This Nexus 6 is priced like a phone. This is a price to make money. This is a product. Google's definitely selling this not as a right? It's not developer platform anymore. This is a product.
Yeah, I mean, they're calling it their reference device.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
it's
in their blog post, they said, we understand that you can't innovate in software if you don't do it hand in hand with hardware, and that's why we're continuing our Nexus. They made a very strong state declaration. We're continuing our Nexus line, and we're doing so through the Nexus 6 and the Nexus 9. I don't know. I mean, are consumers? I mean, there's a big benefit to buying the Nexus 6 unlocked for that very high price. It's unlocked, and you can use the carrier that you want, and you get pure Android. I just don't know.
They're selling it on all the carriers. It's on Verizon. It's on AT&T. It's on Sprint. It's on T-Mobile. They didn't do that before. This is a product for them that they want to make money on.
Pricing also a way to suck up to the phone companies. We're going to stop making you look bad. We're not going to go along with the game, and we're going to charge $700 for a phone so that you can have your fakakta ridiculous made-up business models.
I think what they're doing is they're selling the Nexus 5. Continuing to sell the Nexus 5 because there's a low-cost developer phone. If you're a developer, do you really want a 6-inch screen? Doesn't that really I mean, really? You're a developer.
No, but I think it's more than that, Leo. I think the pricing shamed the phone companies and shamed both the
I agree, because it told people, but so does OnePlus One.
But now it's not Google doing it. OnePlus One shaming it is a different matter, and you can't get them. Google shaming them is a big deal. So is this... I'm just asking, is this Google caving in to the...
Maybe. They've given it to the carriers. They've given it to the carriers, so maybe.
I'll be honest. As a developer, I want to see what my app looks like on a 6-inch device.
Okay.
Yes, because there's a tablet layout and there's a phone layout.
And this is in
6
between.
inches is right between them, right? Yeah. So first I'm curious to see...
Gina.
How's Android going to render? And is it going to be the tablet layout or the phone layout? And I want to see what that looks like. It could look like the phone layout too spread out, or it could look like the tablet layout too squished up.
It's not, of course, the screen size; it's the resolution that you care about. Is there a device with this? Yes, there are many devices with this 1440 resolution, but they're tablets.
But they're tablets, yeah.
So this is the tablet layout.
Yeah, it's got to be the tablet layout, right? Well, did they just drop the SDK, or they're going to? I mean, there's going to be simulators that will show you what this looks like. You don't have to buy every device that you develop for, but I am certainly interested to see what it looks like, and and I also probably should do some material design updating, as we all should.
We'll do this quickly because I know most people don't have a OnePlus One, and it's still tricky to get one, although. Invitations are flowing much more freely now.
Yeah.
Than they used to. The Cyanogen mod is, we've been saying for a long time we prefer vanilla Google, right? We want the Google Play experience.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, Gina, because you were the biggest proponent of it.
Yeah.
What do you think? I mean, Cyanogen mod is an adjustment just as TouchWiz and Sense are.
It is. I love it. I love
it
because it gives me extra functionality. But I will say that some of the extra functionality does border on a little extra geeky and a little bit bolted on.
Yes.
And I'm okay with that because I kind of know what I'm doing. But I there's part of me that also feels like maybe for like a regular person, the pure Android, the Google experience, I shouldn't say pure Android, the Google experience Android might be just as good, if better. I mean, the things that Cyanogen gives me are very fine-grained controls that like nerds like me care about, but probably not everyone cares about. I don't know. I want to hear your argument, Leo.
Perfect example here is the quick settings, right? So before you see the system settings, the first thing you see when you slide down on the right is the quick settings. On stock Android, you can't modify these. On Cyanogen, you can. And there's a much richer set of choices available for you.
Yes.
That is great, and makes perfect sense. And yet it's still very much it's just a small addition to what is essentially the Google experience. Similarly, when you go in, and this is also there, this quick bar, which is not part of the Google experience. Let me go back home. When you go into settings, it'll be very familiar to anybody who's used a Google Play experience phone.
Unlike a Samsung experience.
Right. You don't have 4 different tabs. But they have a few things. For instance, this is nice. You can choose. Actually, maybe this is now in the Google experience. I can't remember. Choosing the home, the launcher. I like the ability to choose the launcher. There's themes, which you don't have, obviously, in Google Play Edition. And there's a theme store. So you can change this dramatically if you don't want to use the Holo theme, which is basically, and I'm sure there'll be an L theme. Gestures, you saw me do the V to turn on the flashlight. Gina loves the fact that once you've locked the phone or turned off the phone, you just double tap it to wake up the screen.
Yeah, that's really awesome.
It's a little thing. And I bet you there's a third-party app that'll give you that capability. It's little things like that, but it essentially feels pretty much... Oh, and I'll tell you, here's the biggest difference, is these capacitive buttons are weird. So it's home. I can't even see them. They're so dim.
And menu, yeah.
Home and menu. I mean, Google doesn't want you to have a menu button. That might be the most controversial thing on the OnePlus. This would normally be back and recent, and on the OnePlus, it's menu, home, and back. So that's
right. And I'm running the Google Now launcher, so I can switch between. I get wallpapers and widgets and settings when I tap that. So it's a different. You can customize it. You can customize it a lot, and I love that. And customization is a huge part of Android, and one of the biggest selling categories of apps. I think only behind games. Which isn't the case for iOS. I just don't know. I mean, look, Google's got to create the experience that makes sense for most users, and I just don't know if most users care enough about their phone to rearrange, the tiles here. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, listen, this is the line that you always have to walk and consider when you're making any kind of software, right? Like, there's so many different levels of users.
CyanogenMon has always been aimed at the sophisticated user, right?
Absolutely.
Which is why we like it.
I completely agree that Cyanogen is way better. I didn't want to have to deal with doing it myself. I love that this phone shipped with Cyanogen on it. And I was just like, okay, this is fresh, clean. I know I'm getting updates straight with the manufacturer. I don't want to deal with any of that BS. I don't have enough time in my life anymore, unfortunately. But I love that I can buy a phone with Cyanogen on it. Right. I love it. I do love it.
And now they've added the Cyanogen camera saves camera raw. Now that's a 16 from this phone. It's a 16 megabyte file. So every time I take a picture, I use up almost 20 megabytes. And you can't read the camera raw with anything. You have to import it to Lightroom to read it. But it's a DNG format, which is a standard format. They've also added high-res music capability, which I think is great. I can now play back FLAC files recorded at 192 kilohertz, 24-bit sound. That's the Pono players doing that. The new Sony Walkman does that. We're moving in that direction. I think the HTC might do that, where the ability to play high-quality, really high-quality music back.
So when does Lollipop come out for Android, and when is it likely to come out on Cyanogen?
They didn't say, did they?
When's it likely to come out on Cyanogen? Like, when are we going to get Lollipop?
Oh, so much later, right? Because they have to then they have to get the source code, and then they have to modify the source code.
Yeah, they basically have to rebase their work on top of Lollipop. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be probably a while.
Define a while.
Months.
I think it's going to be months. Yeah.
Next year.
I would be surprised if it happened before January 1st.
Yeah.
But
so that's
it depends
kind of a
on when the source code drops and how long those guys are.
They're at Google's mercy. They cannot do anything until they've released the source code.
Yeah.
In fact, and I thought you were asking about Lollipop on the Nexus 6 and stuff. And well, I guess it'll come out when a Nexus device with the L comes out.
And Google has been releasing the source code closer to the release of the faster, so that's good for us.
I think Cyanogen is good because
6, you're gonna make Gina Phil jealous that you have.
Oh, I'm gonna immediately get a Nexus 6 and probably move to it, but because I presume it's gonna have the other things that I like about the Moto X, like the always listening and all that stuff.
Well, I don't know. Does it?
I don't know.
It's a Motorola product, so
I would guess. They put it on the Droids. The Max and the Turbo will have it.
And it has a big Motorola logo on the back, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I can use it with my Hint and my Moto 360.
So I tried to go out and get
the Hint I threw
LGR.
Away. Say again?
I tried to go out and get the LGR and failed.
That new watch with the bezel.
Right, sorry, yes. And so it's a real round one, no flat tire. And it's out here in Korea for, I think, $330 equivalent with Korean tax. But I asked at the front desk of the hotel, and one of the guys in the hotel, it's already sold out. And it's weird. There's no Best Buy of Korea. You go to these big electronic marts, and there's just booth after booth after booth after booth after booth of people selling stuff, and the people making computers there and all kinds of odd things. I can't figure out where I would go to get it. I tried all yesterday afternoon and failed. So
I am very happy with the Moto 360, and I don't notice a flat. Does a flat tire still bother you? No.
I stopped seeing it. Doesn't bother me at all.
I have to say, this convinced me. This is the first device I've used that convinced me that wearables might have a future.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a great device.
Yep. I would like to do the changelog. Would you like to do the changelog?
I'd be happy to do the changelog.
All right, let me take a break. When we come back, Gina Trapani with the latest from Google, which is all we've been talking about today. And we'll also talk about why Eric Schmidt tells us who Google's biggest competitor is. It's not Bing. But first,
Alta Vista.
Who is Google's? This is a good brain teaser. Who is Google's biggest search competitor? Think about it, and the answer will surprise you. But that's right after this word. Our show today brought to you by Personal Capital, a marvelous solution. Somebody just emailed me and said, I'm trying to figure out what to do with our retirement money. Do you recommend Personal Capital? I said, yes, I do. It solves two problems with planning for your future. The first is it's very hard to keep track of where all your money is. Cars, loans, mortgages, stocks, bonds, 401ks, checking, savings, credit cards. It's all over the place, each with a different password and username, all different sites. So if we want to take a look at our actual total financial situation, that's challenging. And then if you're paying somebody to manage it, you may be paying too much. You may not be getting the best advice. So this is the solution I use, and I recommend. It's called Personal Capital. First of all, you'll give it all your account information, and it's secure and safe, and all of your financial stuff will appear on a single screen. All the graphs and the charts and everything on one screen. It's a dashboard, whether it's on your computer, your phone, or your tablet, real-time intuitive graphs. Yes, they have an Android Wear app. It's right on Google Play Store. You can integrate it with your Android Wear watch, your Moto 360, or your LG, or your Samsung. Provides users with timely updates on their finances on your watch. It also, Personal Capital will show you if you're overpaying in fees, how much you're overpaying, and what to do to reduce those fees. You'll also get advice that's tailored directly to your needs, your age, where your money is. Rebalance your investments. There's a 401k calculator. There's a fee calculator. So don't wait. This is all free. It'll pay big dividends too. Personal Capital will give you total clarity, transparency, so that you can make better decisions about your future. I'll tell you what, it's great. Personalcapital.com/twig to try it free today. It only takes a couple of minutes to set up. You'll have it going by this afternoon, and then you will be in the know. Personalcapital.com/twig. And now, ladies and gentlemen, play the trumpets, because we got the change log.
The Google change log.
Here's Gina Trapani with the latest from Google.
Google launched a new Hangouts app for Chrome on Windows and Chrome OS only. So sad panda here because I'm on my Mac and wasn't able to try it out. But this is basically a Chrome packaged app, so it works outside the browser. So it's separate from the Hangouts Chrome extension that you may be using already. This is outside the browser. And it displays in a separate window your contact list and your chats in one window, and you get notifications, of course, that alert you to new messages, and chats, of course, with all Hangouts sync across all your devices. It's got calling on the desktop now, so it has all of Hangouts video and voice functionality, so you can make phone calls to any number in the world via the Hangouts dialer from your desktop. And the app includes complete Google Voice support, so you can make and receive calls and get your voicemails and SMS messages directly in Hangouts. So when you to get this, if you're on Chrome on Windows or Chrome OS, go to the Chrome Web Store and you can download this separate app, separate from the original Chrome extension, and it'll put itself in Chrome's app launcher, and you'll see the new window, and it gives you kind of like Chathead style almost access to your contacts and chats that are going on. So
yeah, I was going to use it today, but I thought I installed it, then uninstalled it because I figured I didn't want another variable being in Korea at 5 in the morning.
Probably wise.
That was a good choice.
Probably wise.
But what I couldn't figure out was the little green thing. I couldn't get it to go away, so it's just always there on top of whatever you're working, and I hate that.
Oh, that's annoying. Yeah, I don't want that.
That is annoying.
I'm sure there's got to be a setting somewhere to get rid of it, but I didn't take the time to
Whoa! Did you see that? Whoa! Drag it around.
Look at that action.
But it's always there. But you can put it anywhere you want. You know, it's like the chat heads. It's like Facebook's chat heads.
Chat heads. Mm-hmm. Yep.
I hate that.
You hate it.
I hate chat heads. Oh. But you kind of do want it to be persistent, because I have to say, even on the Mac, I'm always, like digging around for the Hangouts window.
You got a bar on the top. You got a bar on the bottom. Use them.
Well, but if you click the Chrome extension for Hangouts on my Mac, because I have multiple screens and multiple work areas. Spaces. I don't know where it is. I have to search because it pops up.
Too.
Yeah.
And then it signs me into the wrong Google account, and then I have a
don't get me started.
Jarvisian rant comes on, and all I want to do is send a text message, you guys. All I want to do is send a text message.
I think they've fixed that problem, but they haven't, because now you can, in fact, on Chrome OS, you can sign into both accounts without having to sign into two completely different sessions.
Good.
So I can switch back and forth. Well, that sounds okay, but that's not the point, folks. The point is I want to go tab to tab and be using different accounts. I don't want to have to change my entire view just because my Google Plus is different from my Gmail. So it doesn't really help. B, my Chrome was crashing as never before, so I stopped it.
Oh.
And it hasn't crashed since, knock on wood, so I think it's still.
Oh.
There's a point in software development, and I know because I've gotten there many times, where there's a giant bug that you've been wrestling with for months and maybe sometimes years, and you convince yourself that it is fixed.
Yeah, I hate folks.
For your own sanity. And I think maybe Google's gotten to that point, like, fixed enough.
It works.
No, it ain't, folks.
It works.
I'm not letting you off the hook. It's, the thing is, it works perfectly on Android. I can go into any Android application, go back and forth smoothly between users. Perfect may be a little stretch, but it's a lot closer. If you got it to Android quality in Chrome, you'd be okay, but you're not there yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
Because the real problem is, if I click on a link to Google Plus from in my Gmail, it then opens it in the wrong account, and I can't get the link over. That's just one. Fix that, and then you're on the right track. But enough of Jarvis's rant. Your fault.
Continue on. By the way, this is the Compromise Lollipop. It's a lemon meringue flavored lollipop.
Oh, double L. All the lollipop licking is getting obscene.
Who did this, by the way? Our staff decided to put lollipops all over my table. Was this Burke?
It's amazing.
It feels like a Burke. Or was it you, Chad?
This seems like a Jeffism. If I've never heard of one.
Not Needles?
It wasn't Needles? Karsten and Tanya.
Karsten and Tanya
is what we're
thanks
hearing.
to whoever gave me about 8,000. Look at this one. What do you do with this?
I want one. I've been looking at them.
You know what? They'd use this as an excuse to go over to Powell's Sweet Shop and stock up. On the good ship, lollipop, it's short trip to the... We represent the Lollipop League.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
The Lollipop League. All right. More of the...
Let me keep going with the changelog. Let me try to save this. Okay, changelog continuing. Chrome for iOS now downloads and saves files in supported applications. So Google's updated Chrome for iOS. It's got better support for the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus. And now, thanks to the newness that iOS has, it's kind of similar to the oldness that Android had. Ha ha ha. When you run into a downloadable file, when you're browsing, you can download it and then send it over to a supported application. So you could download something on your phone on iOS and send it over to Dropbox or Google Drive, for example, which is a nice upgrade. Chrome 39 beta for Android is now rolling out with reader mode and a couple of other little features. This is coming out to users on Google Play. You have to be opted into the Chrome beta, which is available, but please do have some tolerance for some bugs. Although I do use it as my primary browser, so I recommend it if you've got some of that tolerance. It's got some performance improvements, bug fixes, other tweaks. Google doesn't usually announce new features in the beta version, but users have noticed a couple of new things. There's a new reader mode that kind of strips away the UI elements of Chrome to let the user focus only on the text of the web page. That's nice. And also in this release is this still experimental windowed mode, accessible only on the Android L preview. This is when each tab in Chrome actually looks like its own individual app when you're flipping through your recent apps or switching between processes. So Chrome itself isn't a process, but each web page is. So that's kind of nice. That's the Chrome 39 beta for Android. Latest Google Glass update does notification sync a lot like Android Wear does. So basically this means Glass gets the same functionality as the Android Wear smartwatches, meaning that any notification that you get on your phone, you'll be able to see on your Glass. I think this makes a lot of sense that Glass and Android Wear is kind of syncing on Android Wear, and we're going to basically be running the same software that'll be running on your wrist. That update is due to hit Glass this week, and you'll have to be running the latest version of the My Glass Android app. That's version 3.30, and that will be coming out today. Finally, and thanks for this one, Jeff. I hadn't seen this one, but it's really neat. Google released a new Chrome extension for Google Maps that turns your default new tab page into a random satellite image from Earth, Google Earth. So every time you open up a new tab, you get this sort of gorgeous satellite image. It's called Earth View from Google Maps. So search the Chrome Web Store for Earth View from Google Maps. And I downloaded and installed this. I thought it was a little gimmicky. I thought that it would slow things down and be kind of annoying. It's awesome. I love it. I hit Command T all the time to open a new tab, and it loads a random Earth image and tells you where it is. And it's just really, really neat, really cool customization for Chrome. So that's free, and that's also from Google.
Let me try it.
And
that's so cool.
Yeah, did you get it?
Oh, yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah, and it's totally random. Yeah, look at that. Look at that.
This is like the new backgrounds on the Chromecast, which are also very cool. I'm just going to keep hitting Control T.
Yeah, I know, right? I look at some of these.
These are great. Obviously, they're
Does it tell you where it is? Somewhere?
Yeah, this is Australia, Telford.
You can't see
lower right-hand corner.
It's on the lower right-hand corner because, the screen is overlaid.
I'm in the way. St. Mary in Antigua and Barbuda. Ooh, that is Burketown, Australia.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Am I flying over Siberia on the way here? Jesus, is it big.
That must be fun.
Really? No, that must have been amazing.
This is Argentina?
Yeah, this is neat. And it loads so fast, right?
How do they? Well, I don't want to know how they're doing it. It's probably something I don't want to know.
It feels like locally cached. I feel like
it does, doesn't it?
Right? Like a recent start.
Yeah, it must be locally cached.
It's gotta be, right, Leo? These are like high-res images.
Yeah, our internet's not this fast.
Yeah.
These are locally cached. By the way, I'm now at like 800 tabs. Wow.
And I haven't seen a repeated one yet.
This is so cool. You've just wasted the rest of my day.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, the problem with this is that you forget what you open a new tab to go do.
Really?
Because you're now planning the next vacation. Look at that. Wow.
It's beautiful.
These have to have been.
Oh, that's a repeat.
I think we saw that one before.
Gotta repeat.
Repeat. Oh, these are all repeats. Cash.
No, I'm going backwards now.
Oh, you went backwards.
Yeah.
Oh, dang.
Oh, whoops, went too far.
Well, that's all I got.
And that's the Google changelog.
And in the name of the Lollipop Guild, we'd like to welcome you to Android L.
They should have done that. They missed a bet. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. Now,
Can you imagine the negotiations that would have had to have occurred at that?
Who owns the? By the way, it's so funny because I said Lollipop League at first,
right?
And of course, the chat room went crazy.
And I was like, "No, it's kids. It's kids." But you got it right. It's Guild, isn't it? It's
Guild.
I'm glad I didn't correct you.
I knew it was Guild, and I thought, no, that can't be right. It must be League, but it's the Lullaby League and the Lollipop Guild. I'm glad we got that straight. Holy moly!
It sounds like a show title to me.
Yeah, the Lollipop Guild.
We'd like to welcome you to Android L.
So the answer is, and the chat room sussed this, Amazon. But you have to understand why Eric Schmidt says Google's biggest competition is Amazon. He's speaking to Europe. It's a speech he gave in Berlin earlier today. I don't know why Jeff wasn't there. It seems like
I know
anybody who's in Berlin, Jeff should be welcoming them. He wanted to make very clear that Google has competition because there's some, I think in Europe people feel like they're a monopoly and they're evil. He says that we have a lot of competition all over the world. Now, some people suggested Baidu, the Chinese search engine. Absolutely. Let me find the Amazon part here. He says, if you're looking to buy, let's see, if you want Google is not a monopoly. People believe it is because if you want the news, you're likely to go straight to your favorite news service, Bild. The most widely read newspaper in Europe gets 70% of its traffic directly. A little over 10% of their traffic comes from search, and just under 10% comes from social sites like Facebook and Twitter. If you're looking to buy something, perhaps a tent for camping, you might go to Google or Bing or Yahoo or Quant, the new French search engine. Nice little plug there, Eric. But more likely, you'll go directly to Zalando or Amazon. Last year, almost a third of people looking to buy something started on Amazon. That's more than twice the number who went to Google. So he's got a good point. Google search is not just going and searching nowadays. He says our biggest search competitor is Amazon. People don't think of Amazon as search, but if you're looking for something to buy, you're more often than not looking for it on Amazon. And a Google killer is almost inevitable. Somewhere, someone in a garage is gunning for us, says Eric Schmidt. I know, because not long ago, we were in that garage. Change comes from where you least expect it. The next Google won't do what Google does, just as Google didn't do what AOL did. Inventions are always dynamic, and the resulting upheavals should make us confident that the future won't be static. A little self-serving. It's clear who the intended recipient is, but it's true. Huh?
I've written an essay about the German problem. I'm trying to place in a certain German newspaper, and they're taking forever to get back to me. We shall see.
I mean, it's not wrong.
No, not at all.
Ireland is finally considering closing the tax loophole that have made Google and Apple cash rich in Europe. Remember,
so that's the job of government to do that, not the job of the companies to take advantage of it.
Right.
And it's a fine thing that they do it.
It's how they powered the Irish miracle, I would guess, is low corporate tax rates. And, companies took advantage of it.
Well, the tax rate's going to stay low. The difference is that you could, and I'm going to get this messed up, but you could take certain assets and attribute them to a
Irish subsidiary
that was then somewhere else that had no taxes, so thus Bermuda.
It's the so-called double Irish.
Yes.
So we'll see. I mean, it is true that Google, to take advantage of this, created a Dublin headquarters. It's the biggest Google office outside the U.S. with more than 2,500 people. A Dublin-based subsidiary for Google generates revenue, mostly from online advertising, then pays that money in royalties to a separate Google unit that's registered in Ireland but is resident in Bermuda.
Right.
But Adobe and Yahoo and Apple all do the same thing. the truth is the Irish miracle kind of is a bust, right? I mean, Ireland did very well and grew very fast, but has now slumped a little bit, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, there's a lot of pressure from the U.S. and elsewhere, the European Commission, too, to change their tax
That's
rules.
how this should happen. It should happen through lawmakers and diplomats.
Starbucks uses the Netherlands.
The double Dutch, right?
The double Dutch. Wow. All right. So I'm sure Google's got its attorneys looking for a new loophole, as does everybody else. Google has removed 490. Oh, this might be a number.
No, it's not. We kind of did it last week anyway, so yeah.
All right. 498,000 URLs have been removed under European law. Actually, 498,000 URLs were requested to be removed. A little bit less than half, 41.8% were removed. And now Tokyo wants to do the same thing. A Japanese man.
It spreads. That's the problem with this.
Yeah.
This stuff spreads. So the right to be forgotten is now spread to Japan, and the Leistungsschutzrecht has spread to become the Spanish link tax, and these games are dangerous.
You're going to have to learn some Japanese, Jeff. Tokyo District Court on Thursday issued an injunction ordering Google to remove some internet search results about a Japanese man that are considered to be violating his privacy. He felt, well, and maybe this is legit, he felt that his life was endangered by the results that came up when his name was entered in a Google search. So, you know, they've been kind of closed-mouthed about what the actual circumstances were because to protect his privacy, so it's hard for us to judge that. Google's Chromecast is #1 at $35. I'm not surprised. The #1 connected device, according to a report from App Annie, which is pretty reliable. We've trusted them before. They analyze the top apps associated with connected devices on iTunes and Google Play. The Chromecast app, #1 in downloads, followed by Fitbit, DirecTV, HPE, Print, Kodak, Square Register, GoPro, AT&T Uverse, Dish Anywhere, and HP's all-in-one printer remote. Gartner Group says there will be 26 billion connected devices globally by 2020.
So the Fitbit comes behind the Chromecast? Interesting.
Chromecast #1, then Fitbit, then DirecTV.
This is quite an assortment of devices here. You've got the health tracker, the streamer, the Square Register. I'm surprised that there's more Square Registers out there than GoPros, although the Register is free.
The GoPro app is free once you have a GoPro. Well, the dongle's free. Yeah.
Right. So the Chromecast is $35, Fitbit's $99, I think. I guess that makes sense. This does feel a little bit like apples to oranges, though.
Did you see the? We talked about this on Windows Weekly, and I made fun of it. But Microsoft Research has released an app that will let you type on your Moto 360 or other Android Wear watch. It's a little bit.
It's so Newton.
It's so Newton.
It solves a problem that you don't have.
I guess they forgot that we could just talk to the watch. But now, when somebody asks you, "Do you want to do lunch?" you can say SOUNDSG.
I'm exhausted.
But you could have just said K. Just say K.
Yeah.
That's what the kids say.
I mean, it felt like the story was supposed to be that MSR was not collaborating with Google, but developing on Android. But the real story is, why would anybody want this?
Well, but okay, and you know, it actually is. It's not easily installed and blah blah blah. But I think it is kind of interesting that Microsoft is even doing something for an Android Wear watch. That's kind of what.
Yes.
This is the new Microsoft.
But it's Microsoft Research, which is, you know,
it's their
a
job.
really cool part of Microsoft that kind of does their own thing. But it didn't feel like that was the story. But then it was like, why? What is this? And it feels like Google could make that app, right? I mean, Google's got the handwriting recognition and translate already. It just it seemed like just a very weird. Yeah, right. Did you see them typing into that Google search box? You say, "Okay, Google."
Yeah. It's like they don't. They maybe didn't know how to use the Android Wear or something, and
yeah.
Well, it's another story though. Is that old people don't like talking to search.
that's right. That's right. Officially old because I
can imagine old people doing that.
Do young people like to talk to search?
Yeah, this study. Let's find this study.
Who said yes?
I did.
Oh, well, you're young, I guess.
I love talking into search. It's so much faster.
Yeah.
I don't have to.
So do you do it in your phone or do you do it on your desktop too?
Both. I'll be lounging in a chair in the most stupid young kid position, hurting my back. I'm sure, unable to reach the keyboard, and all you have to do is say a few words.
I ask my Moto X what time it is. Maybe that's an old person thing.
Yeah, I've never done that. I didn't even know that was possible.
Wake up, Moto X. What time is it? And then it tells me. The new Tesla, all-wheel drive like that, the Model D, also reads highway speed signs and obeys them.
I don't believe it.
What?
Does it read the signs, or does it have a database of?
No.
Speeds.
It has a camera. In fact, Tesla's CEO Elon Musk and founder was laughing at how Google autonomous vehicles work. He said, it's silly. Because, the LiDAR has to be, you have to map the neighborhood before you can drive it and stuff. So Tesla's starting to look into the idea of actually reading signs. So also, this I will never use on the D, using a system of 12 sensors around the car. When you press this turn signal, it then looks at the traffic, checks your blind spot, and then actually changes lanes. You go like this and go, it's all yours. Would you do that?
No, I don't use autopilot, whatever it's called on
most cars. Many cars, Ford has the Bliss system, will warn you if there's somebody in your blind spot.
That's good.
That's good. My car blinks, and but the idea that the car, all you have to do is signal your intent to change lanes, and the car would actually do it. That seems a little scary.
Yeah,
it's a slippery slope of automation.
But you'll love it over bridges, Jeff. Very rarely leaps over the edge.
Do I have a
up? Teens embrace voice search.
Yeah, that's what we. So Jeff's car would have to administer a sedative and then do the lane change.
You'll have to, when you get in the car, you'll have a little IV that you insert, and then you just sit there, and it'll smooth the ragged edges.
Talk to me.
Yeah.
Elon Musk.
Laughing gas.
Yeah.
Don't worry, you idiot. Nobody falls off bridges. What kind of fool are you?
45% of U.S. adults say they feel like a geek talking to their phones. That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But less so, of course, when they're younger. 55% of those under 18 use voice search daily. 75% for those who are on their phones 11 or more hours a day. What could you put 11 hours on your phone?
Wait a second. Is that even possible? I mean, what?
Kids today.
Chad, explain.
You're saying yes?
When it's your computer, yeah.
Well, I do
when you're
know. I do notice. I see all the time. They walk around. There's no, if you're waiting, anything, it's always.
You're in a constant text conversation.
Yep. Even if there are people standing there, you would prefer to type at somebody who's distant than talk to the person with you. Kids today. 40% of under 18s use voice search to ask for directions. Actually, I use that all the time. Navigate, too. I use that all the time. 39% dictate text messages with voice. I do that, both on my Moto X and on my Moto 360. In fact, I very frequently dictate texts. It's too much trouble to type. 32% initiate phone calls. It's funny, it's lower. That's the lowest number. With voice commands.
They don't call.
They don't call. That's why.
It feels so arcane anyway. You have to go use the dialer.
Call? 50% of Northeasterners.
Northeasterners? What?
What is this? This is what it says. 50% of Northeasterners use voice search at least once a day. What does that mean?
I wonder what
You're a Northeasterner. You're a Northeasterner.
Because
we are. we supposed to be
I
cutting
know,
edge?
because it's cold and you got gloves on.
Okay. Okay.
Survey
It's
asked
weird.
respondents,
It's not
pick
clear.
something. I feel like
Good.
Richard Dawson. Pick something you wish you could ask your phone to do for you. 45% said, send me a pizza.
Now, isn't that so interesting? Isn't a pizza delivery app the first thing that Larry and Sergey worked on together? Wasn't that their idea?
Very
Wasn't
good.
that their idea? Like to place up an order for pizza through the web? Those
Was
guys
it Larry
were
and
real
Sergey,
focused.
or was it, who was it? Some founders, they had a pizza fax service. Whoops.
Yeah. It was like pizza by fax. I thought
Pizza
it was
by
them.
fax.
So I don't have to talk to
Would
anybody,
you
but I
eat
get my
Google
pizza.
branded pizza? I would.
Pizza by fax. I thought maybe it was Alexis Ohanian and
No. he's
Google
too
was
young for
nearly
that.
a site that allowed users to
right.
order
Very
pizza
good,
through a fax machine.
So it's amazing to me that they're still building the pizza by fax.
They're still doing it. This is from his Solve for X talk about
Sergey and
moonshots.
Larry are both here, and I've had the opportunity to work
Yeah, we don't
at
have to
Google
watch
for
all
almost
this.
10 years. And sometimes
The order would be faxed to the pizza shop. No phone call would be required.
No phone call required. I don't want to talk to my dirty pizza guy. I just want him to send me the pie.
Actually, I order pizza all the time over the web now. There's a Petaluma food taxi, it's called. But there's others. There are other services.
Domino's I don't normally use, but when I've been known to when I'm late and it's the last place that's going to be open, the Verbs where I live, the Domino's app. I have a standard thing in there. I can hit one button on the phone and it's ready.
Awesome. I wouldn't eat Domino's pizza if I were you.
No,
That's a
I'm granting
strange
that,
thing.
but when it's 10 to 10 and you're desperate.
Yeah.
I'd
And
have
in
to
the
be
suburbs.
really desperate to eat Domino's pizza.
Oh, you snob.
Yeah, I'm going to be a total snob here. I got to tell you guys, ever since I moved back to Brooklyn, after 8 years of missing good pizza,
You got
I
good
walk
pizza.
to my
I
local
agree
pizza
with
shop
all of that.
and I pick it up.
You don't live in the boonies like I do.
Where is
Yeah,
where's
right.
the pizza? Where's your favorite pizza in Brooklyn?
My favorite pizza joint is recently opened. It's called Fina Pizza Bar. It's on Fort Hamilton in Windsor Terrace. It's delicious. It just opened. The guy literally he had the oven shipped from Italy. It was stuck in customs. The pizza's delicious. It's kind of fancy. It's fancy pizza.
I don't understand because how could the best pizza in Brooklyn be just opened?
Well, no, yeah, okay. Well, there's much best.
By the way,
pizza
they don't seem
in
to have a
Brooklyn.
website.
Yeah, they're
let me
literally just
plug.
open.
Let me plug mine so I keep it open because my brick oven pizza where I am, Lombardi's Pizza Company in Martinsville, New Jersey.
That
If
sounds
you're in
more
Philly,
like
it's
good
right.
pizza. Lombardi's Pizza Company.
They
Hey,
started with a truck, and now they've got a brick oven in the place, and it's very
I
nice.
like the brick oven.
Yeah, no, the brick oven's good. No, it's
Slightly
true.
burned.
You're right. You know what? They don't have a website.
They don't have a
How is that
website.
possible?
It's so weird.
They have Twitter and Instagram though. But yeah, no, there's great pizza all through Brooklyn. I mean, I grew up going to Maria's on Fort Hamilton Parkway as well, a little farther up.
All right. 24% of millennials say, I am not paying for TV. Chad, you don't pay for TV. Do you have a cable subscription?
No, it's so funny. One of the cable guy came to my door, and he wanted to switch me to, like, I was on Comcast. He wanted to switch me to AT&T or something like that. And he's doing the whole pitch, the sales pitch, until he gets to, so how much TV do you watch?
Zero.
None.
You got YouTube?
And he's like, well, you got a TV, right? It was like, I moved in. I haven't plugged it in. And he was like, well, great talking to you. Have a great day. And he walked away. It was like the fastest way to get rid of the guy trying to sell you
TV.
Sell you cable.
ComScore and Nielsen both kind of agree that younger people have watched less and less TV. They don't pay for cable TV. 24% of 18 to 34-year-olds say they don't pay for pay TV. More than half, 13%, say they've cut the cord. 11% said they never had a cord. Period. Yeah. So between that and HBO saying we're going to just sell it direct, it's got to be scary for Comcast, and good. They brought it on themselves. They brought it on themselves.
Yeah.
We're going to take a break, come back with our picks, our tip, our tool, our number of the week. But first, a word from Prosper. Prosper.com. This is the place where you go, and it's a marketplace that brings together people who have money to lend with people who need money to borrow. And what would you do if within the next 3 days you could get $35,000? Would you pay off high interest rate credit cards? Would you maybe start a business, do a home improvement project, buy an infinite amount of lollipops? It's up to you. All you have to do is go to Prosper.com and fill out an easy online application. Actually, if you do it for me, go to Prosper.com/twit so that we just get credit. It's the same page. Prosper.com/twit. You can get you provide a few simple details, not too much. They don't ask for a lot of information, and you will get a rate quote right there online. They offer low fixed rates. These are unsecured loans. You don't have to provide collateral. Multi-year terms are available. Prosper, this is Silicon Valley's answer to the big bank loan. With Prosper's innovative peer-to-peer lending process, no outrageous fees, no rising interest rates, and you don't have to put the pants on to go to the bank. Do it all from the luxury of your browser, with your voice if you wish. Prosper has more than 2 million members, over $1 billion in funded loans. This is not a flash in the pan. This is the real deal. Prosper.com/twit. Get your rate right now. You see how easy it is. And it will not affect your credit score to fill out that application. For a limited time, Prosper is offering Twit viewers a $50 Visa prepaid card when you get a loan. So go to Prosper.com/twit. That's a special site for you. And find out what you can get. Up to $35,000 in just 3 days, plus that $50 Visa prepaid card. Prosper.com/twit. We thank them for their support of This Week in Google. Somebody in the chat room says, who puts their pants on to go to a bank? I don't know.
This is the pants show. Leo was taking his pants off at the beginning of the show. Now we're putting the pants on.
Was I?
Right. I think there were women taking their pants off for Leo at the beginning of the show.
Oh, is that what it was? Oh, right. Okay.
Was the lollipop talking?
This is the lollipop talking.
I was just crazed on sugar. Gina, you have a tip of the week?
I do. Good one,
Sorry.
Leo. So this, no. So this actually got released a couple of weeks ago. Somehow it escaped the changelog, but I want to announce it for a special reason.
I love this, and I know why. Go ahead.
Yeah, Google Plus added the ability to add interactive polls to your posts.
Yay.
So you can ask your followers any question, a multiple choice question, and get them to vote. I use social media for this all the time, and I love that this is this is something I loved about Wave, rest in peace. So I'm really excited to see this show up in Google Plus. And the reason why I brought it up is because we at All About Android, Ron Richards and Jason Howell and myself switched over to Google Plus G+ polls for the Android Arena, which is the segment of our show where we each demo an app that we really like on Android, and then our listeners and watchers vote on which one is the best. So if you go to my Google Plus, it's plus.google.com/plus Gina Trapani. You can see that I've got the latest Android Arena poll posted there, and you can vote on it, and you can see how polls work. What's really nice about these polls is that when you reshare them, the votes don't get forked. So like right now on Google Plus, if you reshare somebody's post, the comment threads get forked. You know, like your share will have a separate comment thread than the original post. On the polls, the votes, the numbers all, they're all the same, right? So if I reshare it, I have the same numbers. Yeah, which is really, really nice. And of course, all the votes have names attached to them and Google Plus accounts attached to them, which helps deal with, scripts that try to, juke the stats or whatever. So yeah, really, really nicely done, and cool way to use polls. So we have some really good apps in the arena last night too. So
I know.
and
who's winning?
Yeah, so well, we didn't attach names to what they are, but mine is winning. Let's just say that. So I'm pretty happy about it. We've already gotten a huge response, much bigger response to this poll than we do on our normal, our regular straw poll app. So pretty happy with this. So
I like it a lot better, and it's of course in the social community, which is really nice. I've been using it. I used it because I took pictures with my OnePlus, my iPhone, and I can't remember what the other phone was, and asked people to give me a rating on which phone they thought was the best. And I got 2,242 votes, which I don't think I would have gotten anywhere else.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's really good.
Yeah, that's a tremendous response.
And an unusual response. The Moto X1 and then the OnePlus One and the iPhone 6, the laggard in the bunch, which kind of surprises me.
Wow.
Well, that's going to bring the haters out.
Well, it is Google Plus, I guess. You know, that's maybe part of the reason. OnePlus was really winning for a while, and then people chimed in for the Moto X. And again, lots of comments too on it. It was really, this poll is great.
Yeah, what's nice is that people can vote, but then they can also discuss.
Yep.
which is nice.
Really like that. I'm going to use more of that more as well. Yeah. Polls now in Google Plus. Jeff Jarvis, your number of the week.
Well, combination here. So Google has announced it's going to bring same-day delivery now to Boston, D.C., and Chicago, with Manhattan and L.A. following. And here's the interesting thing. They have their own version of Prime, $95 a year for same-day delivery. Speaking of competing with Amazon.
This is Google?
Is this Google Shopping Express? I thought that they had this in Manhattan. I remember trying this out in Manhattan because they had like a trial period there for a while, and it was great. It doesn't work in Brooklyn, and then they said Brooklyn was to come. But yeah, this is clearly...
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
Isn't it?
Clearly
So
the
that's
next
really
frontier.
slapping Amazon.
We don't have that in Petaluma, obviously. It has to be a metro area, I guess. That's neat.
The choices were a little bit, I should say, a lot more limited than. I mean, it was basically like big
you can
box
get Prime
stores.
anywhere, but same day means that you have to have a depot. You know, you have to have a place to drive. They don't bring it to your house, do they? Or do they?
I think if you lived in Manhattan, they would bring it to your house.
Bring it to
Yeah.
your house. Wow.
But the difference models here is, I think that Amazon has its own fulfillment. Google fulfills out of existing brands. eBay wants to enable small stores to do the same thing eventually.
So it's
And my
really the
other
Shopping Express rebranded, but they're not delivering stuff from the Google Play Store because that would be kind of limited. This is from third-party partners.
Right, like their drivers going around and assembling your order at Target and bringing it to you. Yeah.
So, by the way, the other number is it's 7 o'clock, so it's dawn in Korea.
Look at that.
Wow.
That's beautiful.
It is.
Can you
That
see
big
Kim
screen.
Jong-il from there?
Un.
It'd
be a trick to see Il.
Il's under the ground.
It is news here.
No one's seen Kim Jong-un either. I might point out.
He was seen yesterday, and it makes news here, Lord knows.
Yeah. Where was he seen?
Hobbling somewhere.
Yeah. Well, he's alive anyway.
Going to get some mac and cheese, perhaps.
So I owe an apology to one of our stalwart chatters who asked me about 80 times yesterday to install a program called System Panel. And I said, no, I don't like task managers. I don't think they're a good idea. But I finally gave in. There are two versions. This is the free version, System Panel Lite. And they also have a $1.99 Pro version, which might be...
That's bright.
Bright?
Sorry, go ahead. No, it's just sort of the bright green. Sorry.
Yeah, it is bright. But what it does is really actually kind of useful. I don't recommend, this is not a task killer. We know that that's not recommended anymore, and you don't need one of those. And a lot of times programs like this will chew up battery life. So this is really more a diagnostic tool for those times when you're wondering what's running in the background, what's eating the CPU, what's eating my battery, and you can get very granular information, which you can get somewhat from the App Manager, but in a much nicer format from this System Panel, it's called. And this is a plot over, and by the way, it does history. So you can see what's been using the CPU over the last week or month or whatever. Very handy if something is eating your battery life, for instance. I mean, one of the problems with the battery monitors is it'll, most of the time tell you, well, it's Android services. But what does that mean really? What is it that's really using the battery life? So I can see which applications are active on my OnePlus, but which applications also are running in the background as services, and I can see over time which is using how much memory, how much CPU, how much battery life. It's really, I wouldn't say something you want to have all the time running, but as a diagnostic tool, very handy. I was surprised to see that, for instance, even though I've never even launched it once, the Amazon Kindle app was running all the time in the background on my phone, so I just uninstalled it. I actually uninstalled a half dozen apps that I don't use, like Glimpse, but that seem to be using CPU and memory all the time on my phone. So There's a free light version. The Pro version has some interesting things that you can, for instance, pack up applications, uninstall them, and reinstall them in one lump. Some interesting additional features. It's called System Panel. One word, System Panel app, and a task manager from Next App. And I don't remember the name of the chatter who was asking me about it, but thank you for pushing through. $2.99, not $1. $2.99. That's it for This Week in Google for this week. Thank you so much, Jeff Jarvis, for taking the time to join us from Korea. Are you done?
No, I've not. Today's when I work. I've got to give 2 talks today.
Oh, my goodness. Go back to bed. You got up at 5 to be here, and I'm very grateful, Jeff. Thank you. Really appreciate it. But you know what?
Dedication.
It wouldn't be the show without you.
Well, shucks, thank you. Now I'm going to put on my gas mask.
Oh, my God.
What is that?
Emergency escape mask.
Is that like part of the hotel feature?
Yeah, well, when you go to the subways here, they have huge containers with gas masks.
Wow.
That's not.
They seem to be planning
ominous.
for something. Yeah, that's not ominous at all.
Yeah, could be an invasion of cheese from the sky.
Thank you, Jeff. Jeff Jarvis blogs at buzzmachine.com. Get his books, the latest Public Parts. They're on Amazon, and he's the greatest. And if you want him for speaking, you don't have we asked you this before. You don't have a speakers bureau.
No, you just come to me and
he'll arrange it. He'll set it up.
Yeah.
Gina Trapani's Think Up is the way to figure out what's going on your Twitter or your Facebook or both. It's you can try it for free at thinkup.com. The things that Facebook and Twitter don't tell you.
Thank you, Leo.
She's back to blogging, too, at smarterware.org.
Yeah, scribbling.net. I know, it's confusing.
Oh, I'm sorry, scribbling.
Keep moving domains. Yeah, scribbling.net. I've been trying to. It's tough. It's tough. It's been a while since I've written. Code is a lot safer. People don't actually read code.
But you did post. You did post today, so that's good.
I did post today.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm sorry, scribbling.net.
No, that's okay.
Get
no
that
worries.
In my head. We'll add that. We'll add that to your lower third. Thank
Cool.
you, Jeff. Thank you, Gina. We do this show 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. That's 2000 UTC every Wednesday on twit.tv. Please watch live if you can, but if not, on-demand audio and video available at twit.tv/twig, on youtube.com/ is it This Week in Google? Probably is.
Something like that.
Something like that. And, of course, wherever finer podcasts are aggregated, including iTunes, the podcast apps on Google. I use Dogcatcher, Instacast, Pocket Cast, all of those. It's there. It's there whenever you want it. Make sure you download it and subscribe, and that way you'll get it every week. Thanks for being here. We'll see you next time on Twig. Oh, they're putting it in.
Oh, the lollipop.
Oh.
I was actually looking for something like this. This is good.
People are arriving at work, taking their picture.
Isn't that cool? Aww.
But the Google store is going to have amazing Google lollipops.
Yeah.
I bet that's a great community to be a part of.
Yep. I'm jealous whenever I go there.
Yeah, yeah. Really neat. Feel good about what you're doing. See any Shamus in that? That looked like that guy in front had a Shamu.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, it's throwing the peace sign. Nice.
Yeah. Android 5.0 lollipop.